Hi, everyone, and welcome to the London Community Week podcast, the show where we spotlight the brilliant minds shaping the future of community building across the UK and beyond. I'm your host, Kate Bova, and if you're part of a startup, nonprofit, of global SaaS company, and you are driven by connection, by real impact, and community first thinking, of course, the space is for you. Also, this episode of the Community Week podcast is made possible by our amazing partners led by Community, Gainsight, Circle, and Hey Orca. Together, they support the community industry with tools to grow, engage, and connect to scale. And today, I absolutely thrilled to introduce you our guest, Tali Vasilevsky. Tali is a seasoned community builder and marketing expert with over a decade of experience helping SaaS companies grow through the power of community. She has led global programs at brands like Elementor, leading and advising early stage startups on spotting opportunities and building strategic community initiatives. Tali also specialized in aligning community efforts with business goals, launching and scaling online and also offline communities, and creating impactful customer and partner programs. Today, as a SaaS community consultant, she helps companies unlock sustainable growth by turning their communities into a strategic advantage. Tali, welcome. It's such a big pleasure to have you here with us.
Hi, Kate. It's great to be here.
So, let's start with you. Could you tell us more about your current role and what communities you are working with right now?
You did such a great introduction for me. So we'll just kind of add that after working as an in-house community lead and manager, I recently launched my own business as community consultant and community doing development. And I'm working like with a few early stage startups, and I also have like my own communities, which one of them is I'm leading the Tel Aviv chapter for the Led by Community for community managers around like products and SaaS companies. And I'm also very deeply involved throughout, I think, my entire career with female business owners and entrepreneurs. So I also have like a small boutique community of this kind of female that's really kind of motivating me and kind of inspiring me as a community manager.
Wow. Wow. How actually did you first get into community building? Because you have also big way. Now you have consultancy practice. What was it something you planned or did it happen more by accident and you didn't know that later you will be a community manager, a consultant, a builder?
Definitely, I'm definitely the accidental community manager, and I think that I discovered it's happened to a lot of my colleagues, and that's like when like a long time ago, over a decade ago, I was starting my own business, another business, in the website building industry, and it was new to me. I was living in the suburbs. I didn't knew a lot of people. I wanted to learn, and all the big like meetups and events and networking were taking place and like in another city, which is far, which was hard to get to. And I kind of met some other great women online living in my city, and they also wanted they had their own businesses, and they also wanted kind of to meet and learn from one another. So we started hosting monthly events, meetups, and I found myself for an entire year running monthly meetups with like bringing together female, and we started like with a group of 10 and we grew to 50, and like every month I was kind of physically running between places, looking for sponsorship, for spaces to host us, bringing chairs by myself, bringing speakers, and kind of that's kind of, I realized I was building a community. And I got kind of invested. I met other people building communities, became part of leading online communities on Facebook, again, around like local initiatives, women matters. And this is eventually I came to work in this industry. And since then, just kind of thriving with the amazing possibilities it's giving us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so inspiring journey, and I love how organic it was, even by accidental, it was organic, and it's amazing. Tali, what drives you to keep going in the space? What's your like super why that keeps you motivated, especially now because you have also a consultancy, you're working with different businesses. So can you tell us the secret? What's your why? What's motivate you?
So I think that throughout, again, my entire life and career, I think what motivates me the most is helping people reach their goals, be successful, and it's something that's really impactful in communities. And kind of, I think that I started my professional career as a marketer, and then I like doing this, but I think when I discovered the power of community in it and the real relationship and the impact that me as a person, and me as the representative of the technology can give people, I understood that this is kind of the place I want to be. Seeing people succeed, this is what gives me motivation. Like really seeing people using the product in the way that's helping them, creating connections with other people in their industry, that's helping them grow and succeed. And
Yeah.
also on the other hand, it's like knowing that I'm helping the technology behind it also grow and scale, and really kind of trying to collaborate and work with brands that I believe in their like the good they're doing for humanity and people, and giving like tools, like the easy, a simple tool to build a website, for example, or kind of something that's helping people grow personally and professionally. And so this is kind of, I know that I'm bringing real impact in people's life throughout technology, throughout human connections, and it's really what keeps me going.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for opening up about that because it's a deep reason to help others, to help them to grow and to be better version of the company, of the community. Is super powerful mission and reason. Thank you for sharing. And actually wanted to talk more about London, of course, about London Community Week because it's coming up soon. I know that you will be moderating the discussion. Can you tell us more about what the topic will be about this discussion, with whom and around what will be this discussion? Yeah, tell us more about that.
So yeah, it's a great question. It's actually, so I'm going to host a panel of community consultants, people like me and you that are kind of decided to open their own business, be entrepreneurs in this in the community management ecosystem. And we're going to speak about also the challenges of having your own business, which is like a strong one, but also the difference between being a like internal community manager and coming from external. I think there's advantage and disadvantage for this. My journey in this, it's kind of new, so I'm coming to learn and share my learning so far, but mostly to learn because there is a big difference. And I kind of really founding this because in community, you really need to be part of the community. You need kind of to be involved with people. You're building relationship with your community. And when you're kind of coming from the side, the question is how do you see the opportunities? How do you do that when you're not like full-time involved? So this is kind of something that we will be also speaking about, and kind of, again, balancing building your business, investing in a relationship for your customers, for kind of helping them to see the blind spot from the outside. It's easier to find the blind spot. So it's going to be a very interesting discussion, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's incredibly relevant, especially for me, because I think last 2 years have consultancy practice and a lot of challenges. You mentioned that a lot of disadvantages, a lot of advantages, and I 100% agree with that. A lot of challenges, actually, and I'm wanted to hear more and looking forward to hear this conversation because it's super relevant, especially for those community managers who maybe just want to start but have a lot of fears. They don't know how to do that because it's not the same when just you are working inside the community, inside the product, inside the company. Here you should to be truly entrepreneur and
exactly.
It's not simple. But Tali, maybe you can share with us also your own takeaways, your own insights during your consultancy, and your takeaways that you hope the audience will leave with after this discussion.
So again, like I mentioned, I kind of new to this. Like I'm just doing the.
It's great because everything is new now.
Yeah, I think. Yes, I think that like I know like how to build communities and everything around that, but I'm thinking that but again, it's like understanding the balance between, okay, so this is how I would do that, and the difference. Okay, so this is what I would recommend. How to build the process of consulting, which is good for your client, and which is another person. It's not you. And how kind of to fit. So this is like a process I'm doing with myself and kind of with some colleagues, kind of to build my frameworks that are working for me as a consultant, and take understanding the way that I can help my clients, and also building in some of the cases when I'm kind of doing the development itself. So also kind of understanding what are the boundaries and how can I still be involved, because I believe like if I'm doing the development, I need to be involved. I can't really do that with an external person. So kind of building the framework for me and the timeline that will help me be engaged with the community that I'm building, and also kind of but still balancing this with the fact that it's not like my full-time job or work.
Yeah, I feel you. What about business outcomes? Yeah, because it's the same thing, consultancy or working with product and doing community. How to measure business outcomes or outcomes from community actually for business? How to measure this positive impact?
Yes, it's a very good question. It's a very asked question in our industry and by stakeholders.
Yeah,
I think I have two parts for this question. First of all, when starting to build a community, like you always say like, okay, so you need to do things that you can't measure at the beginning. So which is absolutely true and true with community. But yet, make sure like what I'm saying to anyone who wants to build a community, plant the data points, the data entry to start collecting the data. Because when you will have a community of thousands of people and you didn't plant those seeds in the beginning for the data collection, it will be very hard to prove anything. So like start measuring or start like collecting the data about the activity, about who are the members of the community, and connecting them, understanding if they're users, if they're leads, where like if they're paying customers or not. Just start collecting the data at the beginning, and then kind of build a dashboard that you can measure your business. If again, it can be growth, it can be retention, and it can be like activation in the product. So then kind of start measuring this based on the activities that you're doing with your community. Create cohorts. Sometimes it's hard to say, okay, this action led to this business goal, because you don't know what this user had in their journey, maybe. But kind of starting with data collection and then creating cohorts based progress that you can check at the end and see, okay, so these people were part of the community, these users weren't, and how this impacts the metric that we wanted to measure. But again, it's kind of a long term. It's understanding that it's not, you're not doing this check week over week. It's something that you're checking throughout the time.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's also a big and valuable topic, and I know that we will be talking a lot during the conference about goals, about KPIs, how to measure, and it's not a simple topic for our field because we have a lot of different things how we can understand that community is working. And I agree, but we need to do that 100%. We need to do that.
Yeah, I will also add about, like, there's a lot of time we're measuring engagement of the community, and it's like it's a very nice, it's a good metric, but it doesn't say anything about the business outcomes. Maybe it might, but it might not. So I think, like, looking for the signals during, like, the community building or the community activity that are relevant to your business goal. If it's like users speaking about the product and giving, like, direct feedback about something that is working or not working, seeing if people, like, have trust or don't have trust, you will see that throughout the conversation that your community is having. So this is, like, signals to put, because if you're seeing a big trust, that's definitely something that you need you can measure, and it will impact the end result. If people don't have trust in your product, don't expect them to retain or stay or convert. So this is also something to really put an eye on.
Yeah, it's super important. Okay, Tali, let's come back a bit to your background, to your community journey. And I wanted to ask you about your failures and about your proudest moments. About your failures, maybe is there a mistake or challenge that taught you an important lesson in your community journey? Can you remember that?
So I think I will have, like, 2 points to share here. One of them we just discussed, which is data.
Okay.
I didn't insist enough to get, or, like, I think in a lot of companies, like, the data people, the BI, are, like, very high resource that everybody needs, and there's never enough of them. What I didn't insist enough to get to connect the data I collected from our community and to connect it with the real data of the users, which in some cases I couldn't, like, prove the correlation. And I think that, like, something that I did good enough, and I couldn't, like, prove things at the end. So this is one thing I would definitely improve later. And the second thing is also community as a cross effort. Like, community are the users or the leads, and it's relevant to the entire company. It's not just just community. It's relevant to marketing, to product, to R&D, to customer success, everyone. So when you're doing community and, like, campaigns or initiatives, like, to involve as much more stakeholders in the company, and also, like, make sure you're catering as much as possible to their business goals and their business needs, because at the end, like, community serving so many options, so many metrics and goals, so kind of making sure that you're maximizing the cross collaboration with the other teams, of course, based on resources, time, and the stage of the community.
Mm-hmm. What's been a proud moment, community? Maybe some win that still makes you smile, still makes you happy, and you remember this case.
So there are a few of those, but I think the biggest one is kind of relevant to the COVID period. If you remember, there was like hard times when lockdown hit globally.
Yes.
And until then, we just started to build our meetups program at Elementor, which was the program I led, and we were only in person, and we strictly didn't allow virtual events. So what happened in early 2020? There was like one day I kind of realized that if I'm not shifting my mind, something is going to break. And like in 1 week, we set up a new guideline and all the tech relevant infrastructure to go to virtual events and host a meetup with our meetup organizers. And we understood there was an issue, and we helped them to keep doing the events. And 2 months later, we launched our first ever virtual road trip, which was like 15 meetups throughout 8 weeks.
Wow.
And like we realized there is a need for our users. Like everyone were kind of isolated in their homes. A lot of our users were like freelancers and kind of small business owners. A lot of them lost their income for that period. And it was important for our leaders to support them. And it was important for us as the company also to support them. So we kind of created a road trip when we the company together with our meetup organizers kind of came together to create like the content plan, the lectures from the product managers and developers inside the company, and really kind of get together online. And I think this was like a win-win situation for the company and also for our users. And it actually grew our program. We got much more people attending. We got more meetup groups opening up later on. So I do think it is like a big win because it was that kind of great match between the business and the users.
Yeah, it's beautiful example because it's for now for us it's so easy to go online podcasts, online events, but then when the COVID started, everybody was shocked and we didn't know what to do and how to conversate, especially when we were working with communities, how to engage them, how to collect everyone. So yeah, it was a big challenge, and it's a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing. And Tali, about trends in community, maybe you also have some specific trends that you are paying close attention to right now, or you are trying to follow in community world, community marketing, community management.
Well, the one trend I'm seeing, and I'm not sure what I'm thinking about, is like there's kind of more kind of integration between community and social. Like I'm seeing around me a lot of kind of companies having like community social, like head of community and social, or community of social, and it kind of looks like there's not a lot of understanding. Like I don't know, like social it's amazing, but I think community is much more. And I kind of have a feeling that it's not like the best use or like the best match for community. It lives on social, like it lives on Facebook, or it can live on a other kind of social platforms. But I think it's kind of downgrading the possibility of community. That's kind of my feeling around that. So yeah, it's kind of something that I'm not sure it's good. It's a good direction.
Okay. Okay. Do you have some framework or some favorite practice that you, I know that we have a lot of them and it's super individual case by case, but maybe you have some frameworks, go-to tool methods, practices also in community management, and you recommend to other community professionals to learn them, to work with them?
So kind of tying a little bit to what I just, the trend I see, I think that the practice that I really believe in, it's going like community-led approach. And when I'm doing, when I'm speaking about community-led, it's not like the company by itself. It's like that the activity of the community is involving the community themselves. It's like building the community leadership that are part of building the community and is like the force behind the scale and the growth of the community. It's like, for example, you're giving your members the power to, you're supporting them in their growing the community and their local cities, like with meetups. You are supporting them with them kind of establishing community groups online and leading them because they have the motivation, because they want to do that, because they're building their own kind of reputation as experts on a specific topic. And just kind of having community members that create kind of education and content, again, for their motivation, and kind of you're catering to their needs and helping them. But the broader community, they're learning from real people and with real use cases, with real best practices, and not when kind of the company is kind of giving you out what they think you should kind of use. So I'm really in favor of building this community leadership that is growing and in multiplying your the brand, the company, the product, and also kind of doing for them.
Okay. I'm sure a lot of folks will find it helpful. A lot of guys who are just looking this, watching this podcast, or going to our London Community Week. Actually, about falls, about our audience, about community managers. What's one piece or advice you'd give someone who are just starting out in community?
I'm thinking get involved. First of all, the community and the amazing community spaces. Come to London Community Week. Join a local meetup for community managers to learn from others. Also, be part of the ecosystem of your community. If you are, let's say, in the like in the health industry, go to events, go to meetups, interact with the people. Just come to meet the potential users or the people in your community, your potential collaborators. I think that collaborating with other companies, other brands in your industry is a very important and powerful tool, especially around community, because again, you have like you have probably shared goals or purposes for helping these people succeed and grow. So like start with really be involved as like part of the ecosystem for your industry and also in the community management space.
It's an important reminder, Tali. Thank you very much for that. Because when you are a community manager, you need to know not only your business, your brand, your audience, your members, but you need to know market. And it's also the key to understand trends specific of the market, because it could be beauty, it could be ventures, it could be SaaS company, it could be health and fitness, and so on and so on. And you need to feel, to touch the market and to understand what is going on actually here. Yeah, I agree. It's super important reminder. And I think I have last one question, unfortunately, last one question for you. If you had to sum up your vision for the future of communities in 3 words, what would they be?
I think I will give 3 words, but I will just say that with the AI world that we're in today, I think that the future community will be like kind of the last human resort. Maybe because like with the AI trend, I also see the opposite trend of, okay, we need people. I want real people. So kind of I think this will be like growing. Communities will be growing spaces for people that want the real human connection.
Awesome. Tali, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time, for your energy, for your thoughts, for so deep thoughts. And I'm looking forward for a conversation in London. Looking forward for the panel discussion because I think it will be hot. A lot of things to discuss with other community managers. So thank you very much, and see you in London.
See you in London. Waiting for this. Thank you very much, Kate.
Yeah, bye bye.